Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us at the Fifth Avenue Synagogue Sunday night lecture series. We hope everyone is well and safe, and we look forward to seeing you, please God, soon, personally in the shul. Today, we have a truly special presenter. He is a member of the Fifth Avenue Synagogue, a prestigious member, Rabbi Dr. David Eliach, and Rabbi Dr. Saul Roth will formally introduce him shortly. Rabbi Roth is currently in Florida, and he agreed to help us out this evening. And just a quick note about Rabbi Eliach. I think anyone who spends any time with him in the first few moments, it's quite clear by conversing with him that he is a man that is filled with a great sophistication, wisdom, dignity. He is a one-of-a-kind individual who is no less than a legend within the field of Jewish education. He has touched the lives, he has uplifted the lives of countless individuals, both as students and teachers and as adults. And I've seen firsthand, personally, how beloved he is by his students till this very day. 20, 30, 40 years later, how much honor they give him is just an indication of who this man is. And it's a great honor to me to call on Rabbi Dr. Saul Roth, also a man of great esteem, of great accomplishment throughout his life, to formally introduce our speaker tonight, Rabbi Eliach. Rabbi Eliach is going to present a presentation regarding a certain style of Torah study that he's been working on. But he did mention that afterwards, if you have any questions regarding his lecture, or if you have any questions regarding any of the different facets of the current situation, which is a complex and multi-layered situation. Here's a man who has experienced much in his life, and he's a man that has a tremendous amount of wisdom and insight to offer. So do avail yourself of the opportunity if you'd like to send in any questions. Please give your attention to Rabbi Dr. Saul Roth.
Thank you, Rabbi Babich. Do you hear me? Everybody hears me?
Yes.
Okay. First, let me say that it is a great privilege, an extraordinary privilege for me to have the opportunity to introduce a man for whom I have so much respect and admiration, and I might even say reverence. He's an extraordinary individual. I want to focus on two qualities which he has. The first one is not surprising, but the second one is I believe, very interesting and really extraordinary. I would say that these two qualities are commitment and creativity. Let me speak about commitment for a moment. In the Jewish community for many years, decades, I would say, the approach of education was intellectualistic. What was needed was a person who had knowledge of what the subject matter was, and he knew how to conduct himself in the classroom, let us say, of high school students with a certain knowledge that would render the knowledge that he has effectively transmitted. But this was a failure because something much more important was at stake, and that is that the result of education should be that the students are committed to Torah, to Judaism, and to the state of Israel. This did not always happen because the process was intellectualistic, and not necessarily something that could instill a sense of commitment to that which we cherish. I want to describe this process and problem in education as committing the intellectualistic fallacy. It is clear that Judaism can be taught, or the intellectual component is very important. Knowing technical guidelines by way of effective transmission of information is important. But what is most important is commitment to values, the values of Torah, and to the mitzvos of Torah, and so on. Rabbi Eliach was always focusing on the goal, on the right goal, the goal of commitment. And I can demonstrate this by a character that he displayed in recent years. He is advanced in age. I believe that he is now in the higher 90s. One would think that when he retired, if he did retire, he would have withdrawn from the institution and relaxed he would have been withdrawn from the Flatbush Yeshiva, which he not only helped to build, but he was an essential builder, and would relax for the rest of his remaining years. But that is not the case. Even now, he left his services in the morning right after they were concluded, and in several days a week, he would go, I shouldn't say down, up to the Flatbush Yeshiva in order to give instruction to teachers. In other words, he no longer gave instruction to students directly. He gave instruction to students via the teachers which guided them in the classroom. This was a demonstration of commitment, and I believe that he continues to do so to this day. But what I appreciated most about him was creativity. You know, I have 3 grandchildren. They all went to Israel to study for a year. This program was known as the Year in Israel. Do you know where it started? In Rabbi Eliach's mind and in his efforts. When he first introduced it at the Flatbush Yeshiva, there was a great deal of resistance from parents. A, it cost money. And B, Israel was not, in their minds, a safe place. There were wars every so often and so on. And they did not want to allow their children originally to act upon Rabbi Eliach's suggestion. Notwithstanding, he fought the opposition. He won the battle. And not only that, but he created a program in Jewish life which was spread wide and far and wide. One might say that his impact was global, at least in the context of Jewish life. He was therefore an extraordinary individual, in addition to being a most effective a teacher. Of course, he primarily he was a teacher. He was a teacher of teachers, and it is my privilege to present him for the presentation of a. I'm waiting for his explanation for the Peshuto Shel Peshat. We know of Peshuto Shel Mikra. Rashi and other Rishonim emphasize it often in their commentaries on the Torah. And the general description or statement is Peshuto Shel Mikra, not Peshuto Shel Peshat. But Rabbi Eliach has another layer, apparently, I think. Perhaps I'm not introducing the subject matter clearly and accurately, but in any case, the title is Peshuto Shel Peshat, the literal meaning of the literal meaning. But I know that I'm not very accurate, and I will look forward to hearing it from our extraordinary guest speaker this evening, Rabbi David Eliach.
Thank you, Rabbi Roth, Rabbi Dr. Roth, for the introduction. You know, sometimes it is interesting to listen to your own aspect when you're still alive. Rabbi Dr. Roth is not only a great scholar and a great rabbi, but also a great mensch. I used to walk with Rabbi Roth from shul to hail a taxi and go home every morning after Shachris. On the way, Rabbi Dr. Roth shared his thought of Divrei Torah, different topics which made my day. He never left me alone. He hailed a taxi, made sure I am in, closed the door, and said shalom. Mi kamocha. Thanks to Mr. Gold, the president, for inviting me to give a shiur, and thanks to Rabbi Babich for his nice words, for leading the discussion after the shiur. I have to say a few words about my daughter and my son, who is doing everything for me. They were all the time, they were writing, they were reading my new Perush of Peshuto Shel Peshat, and I was very enthused by their expression and expressed their opinion brilliantly, and they encouraged me to continue. My class today is about Peshuto Shel Peshat. What does it mean? Teach the Torah according to the text written in the Torah. No parshanut, no commentaries, no midrashim. My Perush deals only with one part of the Torah, the stories, not the part of halacha. The part of halacha is Torah she'ba'al peh, and we follow Chazal only. No Peshuto Shel Peshat in halacha. I was asked, who gave you permission to write a Perush Chadash, not following the Chazal, Rashi, or the Ramban? Who are you? It says in the Gemara, Ein mikra yotze midei pshuto. You have to read the Torah the way it is written and explain it. But this privilege was given to Chazal, Geonim, Rishonim, Achonim, and you are not in this category. I answered, I got my heter ora'ah from two giants, two Gdolei Israel. One of them is the Or HaChaim, and the other one is the Rashbam. And I will ask you now to look on page 8. On page 8, you have two pieces. One is the Rashbam, and one is the Or HaChaim, number 10, on page 8. And I want to start from the 6th Shura on the left side, V'hagam shekadmonenu. Find that. Okay. And then it says, והגם שקדמוננו בחרו דרך אחר. Even though the Chazal chose to explain it differently. כבר אמרנו שיש 70 פנים לתורה. It is known that there are 70 faces to explain the Torah. ובעניין האגדה, יכולים לפרש, when it comes to explain the part of the Agada in the Torah, הגם שיהיה הפירוש מנוגד לדבריהם, and even the Perush will be contradicting the Chazal, strong words. I may do it as long as it is not the part of Halacha. The Or HaChaim was not a modern commentator. He was born in Sali, Morocco in 1696. He died in 1743, very young man. According to Otzar Yisrael, the encyclopedia was published in America. His wife put on talus utfil, and he opened a yeshiva in the old city of Jerusalem, of Yerushalayim. I follow his steps in relation to Chidushim Ba'agada. The other one is Rashi. Many think that Rashi comments on the Torah is Pshat. The truth is, 90% of his Perush, of his excellent Perush, are Drashot. We will read a Rashbam, who was a grandchild of Rashi. So go to the other part there, number 9 on page 8. Go to Shura 6, on the right side, ומתוך כך לא הורגלו כל כך בפשוטם של מקראות. Is trying to explain that the people at that time were not used to pshat. וכלאמרינם במסכת שבת. אבינה בר 12, I was 18 years old. וגרסינן כולה תלמודה. And we learned the entire Talmud. ולא הווה ידענה ולא ידעתי. אין מקרא יוצא מידי פשוטו. In other words, it was not paid attention that there is such a thing as kipshuto. So what does it say? ישכילו ויבינו אוהבי שכל. אוהבי שכל, מה שלימדונו רבותינו, כי אין מקרא יוצא מידי פשוטו. People who are smart have to understand that אין מקרא יוצא מידי פשוטו. וגם רבינו שלמה אבי אמי מאיר עיני גולה. And he says about his grandfather, Rashi. He says that Rashi confessed to him, הודה לי, שאילו היה לפני, if I would have time, I would change my Perush in accordance to our time. Very few people are very much aware of the Or HaChaim and the Rashi and the Rashbam. So I followed them. In summary, according to Or HaChaim, who is a great Parshan, a Kabbalist, and considered a holy man, one cannot rule against the Chazal in halachic matters. But one may disagree with Chazal in Agada matters. And Rashi, who said to his grandchild, Rashbam, that if I had time, I would have to write a different Perush according to the new Perushim, and I am following in their steps. So I brought you to understand why I had the chutzpah to write a Perush of the Mikra. And Rabbi Roth mentioned Mikra or Peshuto. Why Peshuto Shel Peshat? Because many people think that even Rashi wrote Pshat. Unfortunately, he did not. And today you have many Chumashim, which they bring all the Mekorot of Rashi, of every Pasuk. And you will find out that most of the Mekorot, close to 90%, are Medrashim. Today we are going to read in Sefer Bereshit. We are going to read 3 sections. Why do I call it sections? Because we don't follow exactly the prakim which was done by the Christians. We will find that every section has a different name for God. Let's start the first section. Open page 1. I'm reading there. בראשית ברא אלוקים את השמיים ואת הארץ. והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום, ורוח אלוקים מרחפת על פני המים. ויאמר אלוקים יהי אור. וירא אלוקים את האור כי טוב. ויבדל אלוקים בין האור ובין החושך. ויברא אלוקים לאור יום ולחושך קרא לילה. ויאמר אלוהים ירקיע בתוך המים. ויעש אלוהים את הרקיע. ויקרא אלוקים לרקיע שמיים. ויאמר אלוהים יקבעו המים. ויקרא אלוהים ליבשה ארץ. ויאמר אלוקים תדשי ארץ. I am reading just to impress you how one word for God is all the way of the first part. And it goes down till page 2, and you have the Bereshit Perek Bet, Pasuk Gimel. ויברך אלוקים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, יבוש שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוקים לעשות. Till now you have only the name of God as Elokim. Now let's start to the other sections. Let's go to Perek Bet, and we start Pasuk Zayin. Vayitzer Hashem Elokim et ha'adam. Vayita Hashem Elokim gan be'eden. Vayetzmach Hashem Elokim min ha'adama. And so far and so forth, it goes on that the second section has a different name for God. Not Elokim, but Hashem Elokim. So now we go to the third section. Start Perek Dalet, page 4. והאדם ידע את חווה אשתו. It's in the bottom. ותער ותלד את קין, ותאמר קניתי איש את השם, י"ק ו"ק. And then you go on to the Perek Dalet, and there it says, אז אוכל לקרוא בשם השם. In conclusion, 3 sections. In every section, appears the name of God. But the first one as Elohim, the second one as Hashem Elohim, and the third one as Yud Kei Vav Kei. One and many of the Bible critics came to the conclusion that the three sections were written by three different authors. And every one of the authors knew only one name of God, which proves that God did not write the Torah. I want to prove today that all three sections were written by one author, meaning God. My explanation is what? That all three sections are telling the history of human beings' relation to God. But first I have to explain the meaning of God's name. And I'm going to explain only according to the Hebrew that's written in the Torah. The word Elohim, what does it mean? In Hebrew, El, Aleph Lamed, means Chazak, mighty. Even today, in the modern language, we say, Hu Alim, is aggressive, he's mighty, he's a creator. So, when somebody says Elohim, he understands who is God. For him, it is not only a name, it has a meaning. And what is the meaning? He is mighty. He is the creator. He made all the laws of nature. The other name, Yud Kei Vav Kei, what does it mean? In Hebrew, it means to be. Hayo, haya, hayiti, hayitem, zashoresh. That's the root of that. But no explanation what he is. The two names, Elohim and Yud Kei Vav Kei, appears in the three sections. And the first section, we have the name Elohim only. The second section, we have a combination of Hashem Elohim. And in the third section, we have the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. And there is an addition of three words, Asher Me'olam Anshei Hashem. He doesn't call it anymore Yud Kei Vav Kei. They don't call it Elohim. They call it a name. They forgot about God. So I say it was written the history of the relationship between human beings and God. So it's not three authors, it's one author, and they use purposely the different names which the Jews, with the people there, used at the different times. In the beginning, men believed in a God by the name Elohim. They knew what is the meaning of God. A creator, mighty. Bereshit katuv bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. After a period of time, they looked for other ideas about God. They found the name of a God by the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, which the name does not present any explanation who this God is or was. Many were confused between Elohim and Yud Kei Vav Kei. At the later period, they all joined the people who believed in Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, only by name. They were influenced by different ideological concepts like science. In other words, they started as Bnei Elokim, and they ended up finding science as a substitute for God. I'm sure you would ask me, how do I prove this theory? So let's go to Perek Vav. Perek Vav. It's on page 7. Page 7, Bereshit Perek Vav, number 6. It's a very important piece. And I will show you that this piece is explaining what I said. Or better said, I read it this way, I learned it from this piece. Vayehi כי החל האדם לרוב על פני האדמה ובנות שולדו להם. The Torah tells us how did it happen that people started to believing in God and that they deteriorated from time to a point that they forgot about God and they believed in other ideologies. ויהי כי החל האדם לרוב על פני האדמה, ובנות שולדו להם. When men began to multiply on earth, and daughters were born to them. ויראו בני האלוקים. Here you see, מה זה בני האלוקים? אלו הם the children who believed in Elokim, in God, which is the creator of Shamayim va'aretz. But הם ראו את בנות האדם כטובות עינה, ויקחו להם נשים מכל אשר בחרו. And they, the Bnei Elohim, the people who believed in the mighty God, saw the daughters of men, the Bnot HaAdam, those who are on a lower madriga. They are not Bnot Elokim anymore, and married them. In other words, they intermarried. התבוללו. What was the reaction of God to that? ויאמר השם, לא ידון רוחי באדם לעולם, בשגם ובשר. And God said, my spirit shall not shield man forever, since he is not only flesh. So God said, those people who were Bnei Elohim met Banot that had another ideology, and they were influenced by them. If you remember in Pinchas, we had the same problem. They saw the girls and they came to their feast, and then they came to their gods. It all started with Banot. And God said they are flesh. They are not girls, people of God, of Ruchani, and cursed them. They should live only 120 years. And then he said, הנפילים היו בארץ בימים ההם. Who are the Nephilim? In my opinion, they are those who fell down from the higher madriga of God, of Bnei Elokim, to the madriga of Benot HaAdam. and they were like flesh. They were not ruchani. They forgot about God. וגם אחרי כן שיבואו בני האלוהים אל בנות האדם ילדו להם. המה הגיבורים. Do you know who they are? Who are those people or the banot? They belong to a group of people who call themselves giborim. They are the giborim, mentioned in Perek Yud, Pasuk Chet. וכוש ילד את נמרוד. הוא החל להיות גיבור ציד לפני השם. And this is the same Nimrod who said, הבה נבנה לנו עיר ומגדל וראשו בשמיים ונעשה לנו שם. Come, let's build a tower with its top in the sky to make a name for ourselves. In other words, Nimrod wants to rebel against God. Hema hagiborim. Those are the girls. They came from an ideology that we have to be revolting against God. It's not God. He uses the same phrase. V'na'aseh lanu shem. We are going to make this God. We, the people who are doing something creative, we are going to be the God. That we find in Perek Vav, Pasuk Daled. Those 4 psukim summarizes for us that the human being started with the belief that there is a God, a mighty God, called Elohim. But they met the woman who did not believe in the mighty God. They married them, so they influenced the Bnei Elohim to change their minds. We had it so many times in our history that groups of people in the Jewish groups rebelled and left tradition and joined other ideologies. The Egel HaZahav, during Second Beit HaMikdash, did Zdukim. We had the Karaim, all kinds of Meshichim, like Shabtai Tzvi. The period of Haskalah, we lost so many Jews who became communists, some even Zionist Chiloniyim, that they didn't believe in God. So it's not something new to us to understand that, how it happens that people who are on a high level suddenly came down to the lowest level. We are influenced by. What was the philosophy of the Benot HaAdam? So let's understand, how did they come to their ideology? Go to page 5. Go to page 5. In page 5, you find in Pasuk Tet Zayin, Yud Zayin, sorry. וידע קין את אשתו, ותר ותלד את חנוך, ויהי בונה עיר. Before they were shepherds, they were Bedouin. Suddenly those people started to build a town. Pasuk Yudchet, ויולד לחנוך את ירד, מיכאל יד ישראל, ויקח לו לנח 2 נשים, שם אחד השם שידע, ותלד עדה את יבל, הוא היה אבי יושב בו אלו מקנה. Cain is building a town, progress, modern. And יבל הוא הראש של החקלאות, of the agriculture. And the head of music is Yuval. and to a kind of Teshlachot Barzel, the technology. The Torah tells us that some people came to the conclusion that not God was the creator of laws of science, but man did it. And later on, they forgot the name Elohim. And they were left with a name of a God, but no meaning or understanding. Interesting enough, there is a Medrash who said, Az uchal likro b'shem Hashem, they started to worship idols. To summarize what we said, that Perek Vav is telling us the history of the human being in relation to God. That in the beginning, man believed in a God who is mighty, powerful, creator of the world and all the laws of science. After man, Bnei Elohim, met the girls, the Bnot Adam, and married them, they were influenced by the Bnot Adam and changed their mind about God. Being confused about a God who is the greater creator of the world and a God from Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, a new name they learned, but a God who is not the creator of the laws of science, but human being created the science and the laws of science. So totally change that we can understand what happened in the Tkufat HaHaskalah and before what I mentioned. That God created the world, they adopted a new philosophy, as it is described in Perek Dalet, of Yaval and the Tofes Kinor Ve'ugav. In other words, they saw that people are making a new world. They become modern. They invent. But they made a mistake in something. That Yuvali was the ancestor of those who dwelled in tents. He brings all the other things who find out about the music, the copper, the technology, according to the new psukim that I read to you. The people at the time looked to improve the agriculture, a great interest in music and technology. And it seems that all the new findings distracted them from God. And their focus was directed to the new physical world, only Akol Gashmi. Everything is done by person, by people. Similarly, our culture today in the USA and Europe are facing the same problem. We lose our faith in religion, ethics, and morality because they do not believe in God. And we concentrate on science only as the new God. In conclusion, I try to prove that there was one editor who is only telling us the history of the human society in relation to God. How it happened that people lost their way by separating God from ethics and science, instead of combining God and science, that God is the creator of all the laws of science, and the man is only able to uncover them. The Bnot HaAdam shifted to the idea that the human created all the laws, not that God created the science, but man created the science. And science became the new God. We learned that all the 5 chapters were written by one being, and God was the author. The question is, how did it happen that the Bnei Elokim, who had the full understanding of the mighty God, fell down and lost the emunah in God? The answer is one mistake in calculation. Instead of seeing God as the creator of the laws of science, the younger generation adopted that man created the laws of science, not God. But God warned us in the Torah, in Dvarim, that a time may come that people will say, Kochi ve'otzem yadi asai et ha'chayil hazeh. And you may say to yourself, my own power and the might of my own hands have won this wealth for me. When people come to the understanding, what does it mean? It means that the meaning of Torah u'Mada, that Torah and Mada came from God. God is the creator of the laws of science, and the human beings have to find them and use them, uncover them. And we see now with our sickness, the corona, they didn't find it. They cannot create it. They can find it, but they cannot create it. And if they find the creator, find the laws of the creating a new pill. So, Parshat Bereshit is one of the most important chapters in the Torah, which tells us that God is the creator of the world, that He is the creator of the laws of science, Briat HaOlam, ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ, כתוב ברא. But when the Torah speaks about Yaval and Yuval and Tuval Kain, it doesn't say that they created the music. It doesn't say that they created the Elotesh Nechoshet Ubarzel. No. But calls them Avi Tofes Kinor. It's a very important word, Avi, Peshuto Shel Peshat. They were the first one, but not that they created it. They did not create them, the laws, but they uncovered them. They developed them. But this was the mistake that happened to the Bnot HaAdam. The new generation did not differentiate between creating and developing or uncovering. And therefore, the Bnei Elokim lost the meaning of Elokim, the creator, and adopted the new name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. אז אוכל לקרוא בשם השם. They lost the name Elokim and were left with a name without meaning. I want to notice that the prakim where Hashem Elokim is mentioned, you read it at home. Wherever it says Hashem Elokim, You find Edith Parshiyot, when they didn't believe in God anymore, they were losing God. The Torah tells us that Cain killed Hevel, his brother. He didn't say in the first page of it, Hashem Elohim is there, but it says when it was Hashem Elohim, when they were confused and they didn't believe in God anymore, they killed each other. Then Lamech killed people and wrote poetry about it. As much as they developed technology, they lost morality. Until God find Shemala Haaretz Hamas, and they had to bring a Mabul. The lessons we learned today, and I'm finishing, that there was one author to the Torah. The different names mentioned are showing the deterioration of Emunah B'Shem because of the Nefilah, a result of not understanding the difference between creating laws or finding them, uncovering them, and use them. The Peshuto Shel Peshat opens a new gate of Perush LaTorah. Peshuto Shel Peshat means read the psukim so they are כי אין מקרא יוצא מידי פשוטו. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Eliach, for that fascinating presentation. We're now going to open up for any questions. If you have a question, you could type it in. You may present a question either about the presentation this evening, or as Rabbi Eliach mentioned, if you have a question in general about current events, and we'd like to hear Rabbi Eliach's insights about that, please present your question as well. First, two questions that came in terms of the presentation. So you mentioned that your approach is based on the Rashbam and the Or Chaim, who suggest that in terms of the halachic, the legal portions of the Torah, that no individual novel interpretation is allowed that's contradictory to the rabbinic interpretation. In terms of the Agadic, the story sections, that is allowed, according to the Or Chaim and Rashi and the Rashbam. But if one takes a position, and maybe it's not universally accepted, but if one takes a position that rabbinic interpretations, not only the halacha, but even the Agadic, the story interpretations are from Sinai, why is there room to offer one's own presentation, or perhaps maybe that not every rabbinic interpretation is considered to be from Sinai itself? If we could hear your view on that question.
Well, we know that anything that you bring in the Talmud, there is a machloket. There is no place that anything that you didn't find two Tanaim, even what we said about Limud Torah lebanot. Do you know in that same Mishnah, it says that then, as I said, Chayav Adam lelamed et bito Torah, in the same Mishnah. And then somebody says, Kolam lamed et bito Torah, kilum lamdat tiflut. So we have machloket. So we had to leave that to the majority of Dayanim to decide, and we have to follow that. But this is only in halacha. But Agadah, not only I didn't mention, but the son of the Rambam, Reb Avrom, he said the same thing. That in the Agadah, you can say things against the Chazal. So Chazal gave you one aspect, you can another. But I don't want even to say that. I say I want to read what the Torah said. I show you, it says here, Perek Vav, it says here exactly that there was a Yerida, and the names, it was written by one person, but he showed you the history of the Yerida. So I say, look what it says. So it's even different them. But there are many who have the same daya about the Agadah. And you see those people, the Orach Chaim, many Hasidim today are learning every Thursday night, learning Orach Chaim on Parshat HaShavua. So I have big people that I can rely on them.
Are all the rabbinic interpretations considered from Sinai, the Midrashim, all the Midrashim that Rashi quote, are they all considered to be given at Har Sinai just like the Halacha?
Well, that's true. Again, it depends. But this is not Halacha. Anything that has nothing to do with Halacha, and it has to do with Agadah, you can have another opinion. And this is clear from the Rambam, and it's clear from the Orach Chaim. And before I saw it, I didn't believe that I would find any Rishon or something, or Achon who would say that. But they said it.
A couple more questions. If one is not allowed to disagree with the rabbinic interpretation of the pasuk in halacha, what's the function in your view of the pshat? You know, why is it that sometimes the pshat differs from the rabbinic interpretation? Why is the pshat written in a different way?
Well, the psak.
If when it comes to halacha, the psukim of halacha, that one is not permitted.
I am not an expert in halacha, and therefore I am not going to answer that. But there's no question that halacha is a different category.
Now, what's the purpose of the pshat? The pshat in the pasuk.
The psak, the pshat.
Pshat.
או שאין מקרא מפני שזה האמת.
No, in the halacha.
No, in halacha, I'm not going into that.
Okay.
I'm not going into that.
Okay. Another question that was written in is many people in history have used the curse of Bnei Cham as a source for slavery or African slavery being part of Hashem's will. How would someone discredit that interpretation?
Everything is God's will. We were in Egypt for hundreds of years, and we were slaves. And would you say, okay, you have to stay slaves all your life? But then came the Geulah. ואז ישיר משה בני ישראל את השירה הזאת. We have to do something to change it. And this goes also what's happening now in America. It depends on the groups to change themselves, to be different. You can do it. We did it. We came to America poor, the Jews. They didn't have money. They didn't have anything. And they made themselves. And the same goes with Chinese, and the same goes with some other groups. So it doesn't mean that you had that. So it depends on the hashkafa of a person, how to interpret them. So therefore I say, when it comes to halacha, you must have a majority. Therefore we had a Beis Din של 23, we had a Beis Din of 71, we had שלושה בבייס דין, but there must be a group of people, רבנים, יודעי תורה, בקיאים בהלכה, so they can answer those questions and make decisions about it.
One more question about the shiur, and then we have a question, a general question for you. In terms of the shiur, your lecture, some suggest that the name Elokim refers to the midah of natural law, and the other names refer to the midah of divine providence. Could you comment on that perspective?
I didn't understand the question.
Could you comment on the idea or the notion that the name Elokim refers to natural law, and the natural law, nature.
God created the natural law.
Right, and the name and the other shemot of Hashem refer to divine providence. Would you agree with such a understanding that when the name Elokim is used, it refers to natural order?
All this is medrashim. Pshat, Elokim, according to the name in Hebrew, is Chazak, which means I know exactly what he is. Where the other names doesn't express it. You see, even the Torah says, Azucha likro b'shem Hashem. It's a name. There's no content in it.
Right. Okay. And
Peshuto Shel Peshat.
one last question for you. Based on the current events, we're living in a rather tumultuous and unusual time, and you, thank God, blessed with good health, have witnessed many challenges. Some of the most challenging periods of Jewish history, as well as some of the most joyous periods of Jewish history. If you could give us some guidance and insight from your experience in life and your wisdom to give people a little bit of perspective. Many people are confused, many people are scared, many people are anxious. You could perhaps give some guidance from your rich experiences throughout your life.
I think we should start learning what should be our relation to those who are not Jews. And you will find magnificent ideas which most of the people don't know. For instance, it says that the Jewish people, have to be 400 years Bagola. They have to 400 years. And therefore, they have to be in Egypt. They have to be slaves. Why? Do you know the answer? Why? Al pi pshat, pshuto shel pshat, ki lo shalem avon ha'emori. The Emori, the Knaanim, do not deserve that I should send them out and bring you in. They did not commit sins that they don't deserve to be here. They were goyim. And God said, no, we cannot do it. Nobody pays attention to that. There are so many things. We have to help any davar sheze avel. When you see somebody kill somebody, you have a din of rodef, you have a halacha about that. If you see somebody goes to kill somebody, you may kill him. We saw this policeman sitting there with his leg on his head, and he says, I can't breathe. We didn't do anything. Nobody did. So there is a lot to learn. I think we have to learn a lot and change our mind, and not only politics. Let's have the Torah guidance in the right way.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Eliach. Be'ezus Hashem, please God Hashem should bless you and your family with good health to continue to inspire Klal Yisrael as you do each and every day. And we hope to have the opportunity to hear from you once again in our community. We'd like to share any final words before we conclude this evening's program.
No, I had a good time when I used to come to shul every day. Besides during the years, I went to the yeshiva, and I liked the people there, and it was nice to be there. And it's unfortunately now, I'm 97, and it's very difficult for me to walk and to go. I cannot go by myself. But I think we should change our kind of teaching. We could find in every Gemara and in every halacha something human to show. And we should change our philosophy that we not go only by politics. We're not going with what people write books, what the New York Times writes or others. We should learn what is our way to handle something like that. And the Rabbanim should really find material to do so. So maybe we'll change the community and maybe we can teach others. But we have to tell the minorities, we were a minority. We had nothing. And look, I came to America, I had few dollars. I had nothing. And I had nobody to help me. And the same as millions of people. So it depends also, what do you about yourself? On the other hand, there is a lot of resha, a lot of what do you call it?
Wickedness.
Wickedness. And we have to react to it. So go back to the Torah. Go back to Judaism. and everything should, and not to make all these new ideas. But then the woman reading this doesn't change, and it's not going to help. It's going to fade. But the real essence of a morality that we can learn a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for
so much.
inviting me.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Dr. Eliach. Thank you all for joining us. And please God, everyone should be blessed with safety and good health. And we look forward to
Shalom to all the people that I didn't see. I like you. I appreciate you listening to me. And toda rabba.
Okay, thank you all. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
תודה רבה. כן, כמובן. איך היה יותר? היה טוב?
נהדר.